All right, guys, we're back for day number 2 of this weekend, but it's a brand new video. And what we've decided to tackle today is something that we haven't exactly been looking forward to, but it's a part of the build that just has to happen. And that is finding these exact holes that we're going to use, the old seat mounts for securing the box, and making sure that we get these holes put in that wood in the exact spot we need it to go to. So we've been brainstorming for a while, trying to come up with what makes the most sense. And here's what we've come up with. So we've got a piece of cardboard that is roughly the same dimension. This is basically a 3 foot by 4 foot. Yep. I know I did that backwards, but it is a smidge off from what that board is, but we know where to like account for that little bit that's off. So we're going to use that to find our holes. Go ahead, Scott.
We've already done a little bit of positioning here just for, we showed you in the last video that we were measuring, or the last build series video, I guess, where we were measuring to see how far this front of the box needed to be from this plastic piece. And we said that it was going to be a 1/2 inch. So what we did, we took our little handy dandy measuring thing here, and we measured out 1/2 inch, and we put our tape down to be, you can kind of still see where the thing was sitting at, but to be exactly at 1/2 inch here and here. And so that way we'll have a way to line up that cardboard to put it in the right spot. And as far as the sides, we're kind of going to center it, but we know that if that cardboard is centered, it'll be the same as if the box is centered in there. So, because this cardboard is actually like a, what did I say, 5/16 smaller than the box. But if it's centered, then whenever we translate it, it should all still be good as long as they're both centered. So we'll take that slack out later whenever we're messing with the box. But as far as to translate those holes to be, those bolts, the bolt holes, to be up to the cardboard, what we're going to do, and what we already have done on this side, is we got some tacks. So those bolts,
Here's like just some regular thumbtacks.
And we had an idea for this marble here. I'll talk about that in a second. So basically what we did, I don't know if you can see this one, but
Oh, it's going to be difficult. But it's barely poking. Yeah, there it is. It's about the right amount that you would want it to poke through, probably.
Yeah. So pretty much what we did was put the tack in the very top of that bolt there, which of course there's a bunch of them, but we did this one right here is the one we're actually using. But we super glued or hot glued that one in place, and with this one we didn't have to hot glue it because the carpet holds it in place good enough that you don't really need to glue it in place. So we figured we'd save the hot glue and save the
So like
materials.
we was able to fold it out of the way, set the tack right in its place,
just like that. I don't know if you can see that on camera.
Yeah, and then carefully lower the carpet.
And then poke it through the carpet
where it pokes through. But there's not carpet up there. We at first was going to use a piece of what do we
like
have?
a paper towel.
Yeah, a paper towel to slide under the carpet. But the paper towel wanted to kind of shift a little bit, so we decided to get the hot glue gun out. And glue those two, and that works just as good, if not better, than the carpet. So pretty cool thing. And so they're kind of low down, and they're sticking up enough that they're going to poke little holes in our cardboard. So we're going to carefully set our cardboard in here and mash down on the cardboard to poke those holes. But
so the marble here, we had an idea for it as well. We were gonna, since the thumbtacks are actually a little too small to sit perfectly in that hole, we were gonna use a marble to try to somehow poke a hole, because it'll center itself. You know, it's round, so it'll just sit there and kind of center itself.
Since these have a hex, put it in there, it'll self-center, and then the top side of the marble also will make a nice little indentation. I think that method would work too, but we like the thumbtack.
The thumbtacks are going to give us like a perfect center, and they're going to poke all the way through, so we'll have a good way to start our process here. But yeah, the thumbtack's working pretty good. That's probably what we're going to do. And then just set the cardboard down in place. And this is also this piece of cardboard here is like a, I got it from Walmart. It's like a little science fair project wall or something.
It's
but
cool. We were going to use a box, a cardboard box, and then we run up on those and thought, dang, that's better.
Yeah, so what's cool about it for our use is we can put it in there, in place before, you know, it'll still be sitting up on the tacks or whatever, but just put it in there in place, perfect, set something down on it to where it won't move, and then fold these pieces up, and then set it in there kind of in place, you know, with our tape and everything. Put something in the middle, weigh it down, and then push these down to like poke the holes where the tacks are going to go through the cardboard. And it's also, as you can tell, it's pretty thin, so it'll be easy for those tacks to poke through it. And a cardboard box probably would have been a little thicker. So
yeah, that's true.
But anyway,
okay,
that's step number 1 for today. So
all right, cool. We're gonna end this clip, but then in the next clip, I think we're gonna let Skylar jump in there, and we'll get you a close up of him putting hot glue in the top of that bolt.
Yep.
All right, let's do that. All right, guys, there's the tack sticking up through on this side. Now we're gonna get Skylar.
Yep. Trying not to sit on any tacks in here right now.
Yeah, we're avoiding the tacks. We're gonna get Skylar here with the hot glue. That stuff will harden up pretty quick with that bolt being kind of cold. It's gonna
do like that.
Harden up pretty quick.
Set the tack in there. Kind of squeeze out the excess.
Does it look like it's centered? Decent. The tacks ended up being about the right diameter. There's a little bit of play, but not a lot.
Pretty much right in the center of it.
Perfect. And if it does like that other side, it hardened up good and stays in place very well. So we knew this was very critical to get these holes right, because this box, as it comes in and out every time, it's going to want to sit in that exact spot. And we didn't want to run into issues with having it too far up against the seats, too far back against the hatch, or too far left, too far right, because I don't know. But y'all know we're actually kind of decent with the tedious stuff. It just takes us a little while to think about it and come up with a plan and execute. But anyhow, it is one of the things that we kind of enjoy. All right. Yeah, so I think we're good to go. I think it's time to try test fitting the cardboard.
Cardboard, yep.
Skylar, you got anything to add?
No, I guess we'll just have to find something heavy, but not too heavy to crease the cardboard.
Right.
And just figure out how to get them holes translated just right.
Yep. And we might today, if we have enough time, I hate to say this, but disassemble that entire box so that bottom piece can be loose.
Yep.
So that we can drill those holes.
And to be honest, we ended up going back to Marvin's, and we got 3 more bolts, but we forgot the washers. So if those bolts are the right length, which we kind of took, part of a chance buying those 4-inch or 100 millimeter or whatever bolts, but if they are the right size, we'll have to go back just to get washers. So that kind of sucks, but that's just part of it, I guess.
Yeah, it is. We don't mind making these little quick trips to Marvin's.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Let's get our cardboard and let's see. Let's get this thing spaced properly off of the rear and see if we can poke some holes. All right, guys. I think we're ready to poke some holes. We've been playing with it and getting it positioned, and we're using the little LTO 6.0 to kind of hold it, because it's not heavy enough that it's making it like smash into the carpet and making everything out of whack. We set some, just tore off some
Paper
towels to protect the points a little bit, because we have had this thing in place, moving it around a little bit, but we wasn't ready to poke holes yet.
Yep.
But Skylar, go ahead. Let's remove those. I'll get these off of this side.
Okay. They still all look like they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they do. Nice and straight.
I don't know if the carpet's just thicker over here, or if this tack is smaller or something, but that one is pretty hard to see, but that one's not as hard.
Right.
I don't know, but
I agree with Skylar. Go ahead. I'll kind of hold a little bit of pressure here.
Gotta move our wires out of the way. Okay. All right, are we ready?
I believe we are.
I heard it puncture.
Yeah, I heard it go through.
I don't know where it's at.
That's okay. It don't even have to come all the way through.
Yeah.
You know, we might should have put the white side down. That
Oh,
hole would be
there's
a
that
little
one.
easier to find. Yeah, that one does come through there.
Yeah, I'm thinking this tack's probably just shorter right here.
Yeah. It's okay. I think we'll see
Okay.
it. Or if you wanted to push more to
Yeah.
make it come all the way
I think
through.
it's all right. I heard it puncture.
But yeah, I didn't think about that. The white would have been a little easier to see if we wanted
Mm-hmm.
to reverse this. That hole could actually end up on a black spot or something. All right.
Oh, also, I don't know if we said this, but we've already positioned it to be perfect with the tape, and
we did. Yeah, off camera, we took quite a bit of
just
time.
in case y'all was wondering if we just set it there and went haywire.
No, we did a lot of.
Yeah, you can tell that's like right in line with
Lot
that
of
tape
measuring.
there.
Look, I'll try to see if we can. But you might hear it at least, even if it don't.
I don't know where it's at. I don't want to poke my hand. Oh, that's it right there.
Oh yeah, look at that coming through. All right, cool. And let's get the one up there.
That
I
one.
heard it,
Yep, there's that one.
and there it is.
Cool.
All right, so if we've done a good job here, guys, that should work out nice. We just don't want to have to end up putting a big old hole in this wood where the bolt, to get them all centered up. We just want them to be as good as we possibly can. So that's why we're taking this extra time
Yep.
to try to get this part right.
Let's see how it looks on
Yeah,
this
let's
side.
fold them up and see.
Oh yeah, nice little hole
See
there,
what we've got.
and there right under the C.
Yeah, now these are going to end up being about 1/2-inch holes,
Yeah.
but we'll be
Roughly.
centering the center of that 1/2-inch hole off of the tiny little.
Yep. Let's see about this one over here. Oh, I moved it. Well, I hope we don't need it no more.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you can see that little hole there.
And then that one
That one didn't. There we go.
right there.
All right, guys, y'all keep your fingers crossed. I know we got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, no kidding.
But, we got
There's a lot riding on the line here.
All right, let's move on to the next step. Y'all comment, let us know what you think about our process here. There's probably some other ways that maybe we didn't think about that might have been better than this, but this was definitely the best way we could think of to do it. But y'all let us know. You guys are smart, and y'all chime in with some cool stuff all the time. But yeah, let's move on to the next step. All right, guys, we got the box disassembled. I know it seems like a big deal. It's really not that big a deal. How long does it take to take this out with the
Maybe like 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Just
Yeah, we're not putting
pretty simple.
all the screws in it
Yeah.
and all of that. Nothing's been glued together, so we're able to actually take this thing apart pretty quick. So we got this labeled, which side was the front for the hatch. That actually does matter. And we can kind of see all four.
Yeah, you can
Of the
see it
little
on the
holes
back side here.
poking
This one, and those two did pretty good. This one was the one in the Tahoe that didn't do as well. You can kind of see
You
it
can actually see it
just a little bit right there at the tip of the punch.
ever so slightly. Yeah, it does show up on camera.
But it
but
just didn't
we're
want
gonna-
to poke all the way through.
Yeah, we're going to push
Right.
all the way through with a
Okay.
punch. Be careful too, Scholar, as you're poking through to try to not to
Yeah, crease it or nothing.
bend or crease it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
We just need to see it a little bit. It's not really that big a deal.
just like that.
Yep.
Right.
Also, guys, we need to talk about the grade of our bolts. So I didn't know this until when did I realize this? Yesterday? That
Yes.
the metric bolts are graded different than the American bolts. So like grade 2, grade 5, grade 8 bolts in metric, they use a different system. And these bolts that we bought for fastening this down are 8.8s, which is the equivalent of a grade 5, which I think is sufficient for this. Sure, it'd be great to get some grade 8 equivalents, which in the metric system is called
10.9.
10.9. I'm sure we could find some. We feel pretty good about these grade 5s, is what I'll call them. If it's bugging us, it's still going to be a while before we bolt this thing in place. We could change our mind. We got plenty of time before we make a final decision. But just wanted to let y'all know that we are considering the grading or rating on these bolts. So
Yeah,
if
you
anybody
can
was
tell.
wondering, that's what they're.
It is just shy on this side, but honestly, it's not as much as you would think. So I don't know.
You're talking about from the like the
Yeah,
left
yeah.
to right.
Yeah.
This
Because it's
so we're just
matched up
gonna
on that side.
yeah we're gonna split the difference, which is gonna wind up being like
Maybe a
a
16th or something.
16th on each side. It needs to be flush with this side.
Yep.
I can't remember what is that gonna do to it back there.
It does put it over just a little bit on the back.
It actually hangs over just a smidge.
Yep.
But everything's going to be spaced off of the front edge,
Yep.
which was off of that that plastic piece in the Tahoe. So, yeah, it's cool that we're at this point because the next step is to secure this. We'll probably go around and put maybe all 4 clamps. I'm not real sure.
I don't know if we
Yeah.
talked about this on video, but obviously this is just a scrap piece, but it is doubled up.
It's the thickness of the sides.
Yep. So this will be the side sitting on top of it. And as you can tell, that is still going to leave plenty of room for that bolt there.
It is. And guys, we did use the 4 most outer bolt holes that were available. So it does put us quite a ways short from the front, which we know is not ideal. But we would rather use those existing holes and all of that work out nicely than to be all the way up here and drill a hole through the body. And
to
all
be
of
honest,
that.
these, since they hold factory seats down, these spots where these holes are probably stronger than maybe going up here where it's just sheet metal or something. These might actually be supported really well.
Good point. And it kind of works out okay that we're doing this instead of all of the 10 supports for the port, because we can move those supports. We're just going to pick spots for those 10 bolts that hold the port in place, but we're not going to really be able to mess too much with these because we wanted to use those 4 most outer. Does that make sense? So doing these first and then working around them with the others makes more sense than if we would have done the port first and then tried to locate where these 4 are at. We might would have stuck some of them in our way.
Yeah, so to be honest, that leaves, they're pretty much going to space themselves out perfectly, because with these bolts being here, I'm thinking I'm probably going to go, there's 10 of them. Oh, also, yeah, I put this back here so you can tell we're still ways away from the back here.
Yep, plenty of room all the way.
So yeah, but the bolts, I'm thinking there's going to be 10 of them. So I'm wanting to do like 2, because the port only comes back to about here, maybe something like that. So I'm wanting to do 1, maybe here and here, and then do like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another 1, 2, and then that way the middle will be supported the most. And having 6 there will have us, if you can kind of visualize having like a bolt. These are not exact, of course, but having a bolt here, 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 and here, those 4 bolts will go up to the port, and then there'll be like a metal plate here on top of the port, and then those bolts will go through that, of course, and be sandwiched down to the port. And then having like a rod going up from that metal plate welded up to another metal plate up here that's sandwiched to the top of the box. So that'll kind of give you a better visual of that.
So we are specifically putting those 4 around what's going to be going to the top. So we put a lot of thought into the placement of where these things are going to go, and I think it's going to pay off.
Hopefully so.
All right, so we're going to turn the camera off. We're going to secure this thing in place and get to drilling out. We're going to compare bolt hole sizes and drill bit sizes and all that, and go ahead and drill these out, and we'll be able to throw it back into the Tahoe. And we got 4 bolts now. We're going to be able to.
Yeah, we could be able to test fit it and make sure everything goes right with it. So
we might actually bolt this thing on a test fit. We might actually bolt it into the Tahoe today. See how that goes. See if we need to get shorter bolts, longer bolts, and all of that. We definitely need to work within 6-inch bolts or less.
Because the
that's
port, the port opening is 6 inches. So we might even have to go like a 5.5 or shorter, because that head would stick up more than that. So anyway, I don't think it's going to be that much. The 4-inch bolts that we got might even be too long, to be honest.
They might be too long.
But Also, I was going to just mention this scrap piece, I'm pretty sure was from whenever we cut the box down 2 inches. This is probably one of the 2-inch pieces for the back, but it is the back.
Yep.
That's the top of the back, so
cool.
that's probably what it is. But yeah, I'm probably going to punch some holes and start drilling here in a second.
Yep. All right, let's get to that. All right, guys, we had it clamped in place with these little clamps, and we punched it. Skylar, show us the punch. I've had this punch for 30 years.
Craftsman.
Came in a screwdriver kit that I got when I was 16 years old. So, long time ago. All right. And so Skylar went around and punched all 4 holes. Flip them up. Let's see what we got. We have not drilled the holes yet.
Yep.
But we do have some nice little indentions at all 4 spots. So we're fixing to get the, I got one of those bolt.
Got these 2
thread checker size tools. And we're going to find the best drill bit for the size we need.
Perfect little template here.
That thing has worked out so perfect.
Yep.
It really has been great.
And to be honest, with it being the size, you can see right there, it says 12, 24, and 12. That's 48 by 36.
Yeah.
That's exactly what our measurement is.
The size of his box.
So to be honest, if we needed to, you know, if you were making a smaller box, you could just get this same thing and cut it down to your size.
Yeah, that's right. But with it, the way it folds and stuff is so handy.
Yeah, it really is.
Got lucky on that. How much was it at Walmart?
Oh, was it like $3?
$3. Yeah, it was real cheap. It's definitely worth getting as opposed to finding a cardboard box somewhere. I mean, if that's what you got, that's what I'd use. But if you're going to go get something, shoot, this thing has been perfect. All right, let's get some drill bits out and let's drill a few holes. 4 to be exact. All right, guys, we was fixing to drill these holes, and we got to talking about how they need to be straight. And we're going to use our guide thing again. We're going to drill a 3/8 hole to start with because this thing don't go to a 1/2 inch. 3/8 is the largest. So we're going to drill a 3/8, and then that 1/2 inch hole should follow that existing 3/8 hole. But you think about it, this is pretty critical because we feel like that we should be pretty dead on with where the location of these is. It's not hard to drill a hole that you think is straight, but it's off a little bit. And so being off just a little bit could wind up being where it don't hit. It's not now going to go into the body right. So it's very critical that these holes are as straight as possible. So we're going to use that guide. We're going to get it centered perfectly, clamp it in place with this clamp, and try to drill a very straight hole. We've got a small little drill press, but it's not really suited for doing this. This little portable way of doing it is much better than our little drill press that we've got. All right, so we're fixing to do that. All right, guys, we got them drilled out. So the 3/8 all went great, and then following up with a 1/2 inch all went great. Now we're pretty excited. We're fixing to back the Tahoe back up in here again. There it is. And stick this in there and do a test fit. Y'all keep your fingers crossed that that these holes line up. I want them to line up great. Like ideally where we don't have to waller these out or put
go
something
with a bigger size or something.
Put something at an angle or something like that. I hope they just drop right in. So anyhow, let's try that. All right, guys, we got it, and we are pretty tickled. Skylar, tell us what we got going on here.
All right, so a couple things. So if you look at this, it's mounted in there. It's got the bolts in there. Pretty awesome. First things first, we were trying to line it up with the tape just to see if our tape ended up, because if you remember, we taped where the cardboard went on that side and this side. We taped where the cardboard went at 1/2 inch, and we didn't move it at all. And so we kind of just set the wood in there in place and kind of just spaced it to be even on each side, and to be honest, it looks like perfectly square in there. But of course we got these wires, they're getting in our way a little bit, but it did end up being a perfect 1/2 inch, which the reason we did that, if you don't remember, was because, so the seats would like go up and lock in right and everything. So that ended up being right for that measurement. But so we started threading these bolts in, and we got this one to go in, that one to go in, that one to go in, and then this one wouldn't want to go in at first, and we ended up kind of seeing if we could just get it to thread, you know, maybe it was like a wrong angle or something, and eventually we got it to thread. So all 4 of those bolts are threaded in right now.
Without altering the hole.
Yep, we didn't have to drill them out more, drill out bigger hole or nothing. So they all, the 4 holes that we showed you a minute ago, that's just how they are. We stuck it in here and all 4 of them went. I'm kind of amazed by that. Right. But they are too long, which is kind of what we thought might be the case. So this one is threaded in right here. We checked underneath the vehicle and it's threaded in. It'll go all the way down to like be flush with the wood and everything. However, we got it, we're gonna shorten it up because the threads will come all the way out the bottom and it'll stick out a half or 3/4 of an inch or something. So what we're gonna do is go back to Marvin's and get 4 slightly shorter bolts. These are 4-inch bolts, which we found out when we got home. One of them is actually a little bit shorter for some reason than the other 3. I don't know. We got them all out of the same bin. Maybe 5 millimeters or something. I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna go. These are all 100 millimeters. So we're gonna go back and get, which is about 4 inches. We're gonna go back and get some about 3.5 inch.
Yeah, they only need
bolts.
to be shortened up about 3.5, and that's to make it. We have been under the vehicle. To verify how far they're coming through. We don't want them to be just ridiculous. But we also want to use all the threads. You can see like the welded nut on the bottom, and we want them to come through just 2 or 3 threads all the way through. And so yeah, 1/2 inch. They need to be shortened up about 1/2 inch.
So yeah, I guess we're gonna go back to Marvin's, get some slightly shorter bolts and some washers, since we was gonna have to go back to Marvin's anyway to get washers. So I guess we'll just get all that at the same time, and that should be good. But honestly, I'm amazed that they all 4 went in there just perfect. Real. So that's definitely the way to do that. That cardboard saved us a lot of time, hassle, money.
I know it was a lot of time the way we did that, but it just paid off for us right there.
Oh yeah. And to be honest, I know we were talking about it's not super close to the front, not super close to the back, but I think it's probably still going to be mounted in there in a really good way. So yeah, and it's nice and flush with the carpet. It's going to look pretty good. It's going to have a little bit of space between this plastic. It's not going to be crushing the plastic or nothing crazy. And it's got a little gap here, little gap there. It's perfect for the seats. Everything went perfect with it. I couldn't have asked for it to go better. So it's gonna.
All right, so back to Marvin's. If we can remember this time, we'll take the mics with us, and we might do a little in-store video of showing you the bolts that we're picking up. So anyhow, let's load up and go to Marvin's. All right, guys, we're doing things a little bit different here. The bolt aisle is really busy, so we didn't want to be bothering people over there by shooting a video while they're looking for the bolts. Check out my hat, by the way. Let me know what you think about my hat. What is y'all's favorite style of hat? I know the most popular hat in the country right now is probably the Richardson 112. This is a Richardson 111. I don't know, just trying things out. Skylar likes the Pacific.
The Pacific Headwear 104C. That's what all these Cletus hats that I got are. So
let me know what hats y'all like. I'm still wanting to do merch, and just interested to know. I think it's cool that we live in a world nowadays where they have hat where you can get a certain type, and it's always consistent. We always just bought hats back in the day, and they fit or they didn't, or you liked them or you didn't. Anyhow, the real reason we're here is to talk about the bolts. So we picked
got these bolts. They're all metric, so they're not exactly 3.5 inch, but they're 90 millimeter. 4 bolts, 4 washers in there.
12 by 90s. We did find some 10.9s on the rating, but there wasn't enough of them in any particular style.
So these are 8.8s.
So those are the 8.8s, which is equivalent to a grade 5, which we feel like is sufficient. Anyhow, all right, so we're gonna head home and
put them back in.
See about putting them back in with the washers. Make sure the length and all of that is correct, and then that'll probably be the end of the video. But we will show you all that. All right, let's head home. All right, guys, we're back. We're bolted down.
Everything's good to go.
We're tickled with this. This was one of those things that just knew it was going to take time, had to happen. Yeah, we burned a lot of time on this, but we have a really great way now to fasten this box down. And I'm tickled that I don't know, the way we were able to use it, the existing seat bolts to do it. So, all right, that's it for this video. Next video, hopefully we will get in those big bolts for the port, and we can get to working on some of that. So anyhow, guys, thanks for the support. Please consider subscribing if you have not already. Thanks for the support of all of you guys, and we'll see you next time.